Alright, welcome back to another GBL set here. Today we're going to be running Guzzlord, Charizard, and Cresselia. In a way, you can think of it as an ABB team, kind of protecting against fairy types. So here we go. Guzzlord versus Muck here. This is favorable for Guzzlord because the Muck here only knows Thunder Punch and Dark Pulse. The most damage we're taking here is mainly from poison jabs, but let's see if they decide to shield. I guess technically if they shield, they could try to whittle us down, but I think just from the pure typing advantage here, Guzzlord should be able to win this. So let's find out. This is going to be probably a Thunder Punch because Dark Pulse is also resisted from the Kanto Muck here, so I guess they're just trying to throw as many Thunder Punches as possible. The fact that they're staying in this matchup tells me that they have an ABA team probably, because this is definitely a losing matchup. As you can see here, in the zero shields, Guzzlord wins. And in my mind here, if I don't see a fighter or even like a fairy type, I'm gonna throw a move here. It ends up being Regirock. Regirock is bad for our Charizard, so we do not want to switch. Do not want to switch. Just play this out. Luckily for us, these lock-ons are doing almost no damage. And so it allows us to get to 2 Dragon Claws and a Brutal Swing here. So this Guzzlord, tons of work. We do get a shield. That's very interesting. This Guzzlord got a shield, took down 1 Pokemon and about 3/4 of this Regirock. We do have to tank a Stone Edge here. Obviously, we don't want to make any unnecessarily switch, so we're not going to do any switches. We're going to shield here, kind of play things out, keep this Cresselia kind of healthy. We knew that they were trying to catch. It ends up being not that big of a difference. We have to throw this Moonblast anyways, so this is going to do pretty good chunk of good chunk of damage, or it's going to get a shield. They decide to let it go, and we come in with our Charizard. So the tricky thing here is Giratina could have Ancient Power, and it indeed had Ancient Power. Luckily, it did not do enough fast move damage before to one-hit KO, but it was very close. It allows us to get to another Dragon Claw, which is nice. And then here, we know that they have probably Dragon Claw because they're running Ancient Power. So we don't shield this, knowing that it's probably not Shadow Sneak, and that's the case. So they're running Dragon Claw, Ancient Power, and we survive any move here. So here we just go down and we try to farm it down because they do have that Regirock still. And our goal here is to try to get to 2 Grass Knots. So here comes the first Grass Knot, and they decide to let it go. So GG's right there, easy, pretty alignment right there. The only way we lose that is if we unnecessarily switched once their Regirock came in versus our Guzzlord. And so good job on us just figuring out that we just had to stay in and then throw as many moves as possible and then come in with our Cresselia. Otherwise, if we prematurely switch, then everything gets misaligned. Okay, here we go. Whoa, very spicy Ultra League Primeape here. This is unfortunately a core breaker. Oh, okay, I guess they just decided to let us get that one. That would have been interesting to play out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were double weak to Guzzlord in the back or something. I don't know. All right, GG's to that. 2-0 right there. Once again, it is kind of an ABB team because we have Cresselia as our safe switch and Charizard as our hard counter to the fairy types. So if you have the resources, this is kind of an interesting team if you're not seeing a lot of fairies. So Guzzlord pretty much good against most dragons, especially against this Drowsy. Drowsy could have Aqua Tail or Outrage. So the fact that they're charging up so much, they're acting like they have a Outrage here. We're gonna respect it because we can farm this down, and I don't think. Oh, never mind. We didn't farm it down. We should have farmed it down. Let's see if they shield here. They decided to let it go, so probably should have switched out right there. Or sorry, probably should have farmed down right there instead of going for the CMP type, but you live and learn. So we saw that there was a Scrafty there, so we immediately switched out because we'd rather have Cresselia and Charizard deal with that Scrafty, and then they counter swapped into this Drapion here. So Drapion is a very interesting, very spammy Pokemon, especially in Ultra League. This thing is just gonna keep throwing crunches at us. Look how fast these crunches are coming at us. Easy way to easy way to kind of spam a lot of attacks is the Drapion. Of course, it has its own weaknesses, but I believe it's going to be able to get to this crunch, or they might even just time it. They're definitely going to be over energy. Let's see if they let this go. Okay, we get the shield there, so they're probably going to over farm here. Yep. So this is good on their part. You get a ton of energy. This could be the crunch. This could be Aqua Tail. They haven't revealed their second move. It goes for the crunch, so they're most likely running Sludge Bomb, probably. All right, so they decide to come in with their Scrafty here versus my Charizard. We don't want to get baited here, so we don't shield. This Foul Play does not KO. And then, oh, I guess they're just frozen. Interesting. I guess they're lagging, or I'm not exactly sure if that's lag or. Okay, it is lag because you can see this. All right, so they ended up lagging out. Unfortunately, I think it would have been close. I think it would have been close. It would have come down to a baiting game because my Charizard had wing attack, and essentially they had to throw another Foul Play, but I had a shield, so it would have came down to whether we called the bait or not. Baiting game, so it would have been close. Okay, next game here we have Guzzlord versus the Giratina. This Giratina is running the Shadow Claw version, so they're gonna definitely lose that. They decide to switch out because they know that that's a losing matchup for them. They go in for a Shadow Poliwrath, Ultra League Shadow Poliwrath. Luckily, we don't have to worry about anything, especially against this Cresselia. We let the first one go just in case it was some kind of power-up bait, but most likely it was going to be one of their big moves here. We knew that the Grass Knot wouldn't KO, so we just threw the Grass Knot immediately. And then we're going to try to time this next one here. We go for the Skull, trying to get the debuff. No debuff, so trying to get some extra energy here. And we throw it right before they get to another Skull. And this one's gonna... Okay, it's gonna get a shield. That's very nice. So here, we just match shields because we're gonna outpace them, and we probably aren't facing a power up punch Poliwrath, and they decided to try to switch out, try to catch another Grass Knot. Unfortunately, I had so much energy, I can just throw this Moonblast here, and then I can come in with my own Guzzlord here. I go for the immediate Dragon Claw here to maybe try to force a shield out of them. But unfortunately, this Giratina is very tanky, so it was a CMP tie. Nothing they throw here is going to one-hit KO, so we let this go. They go for the Ancient Power buff. Nothing happens, and then we farm it down. We know that they have Poliwrath. Ooh, they try to peekaboo a Poliwrath, and unfortunately for them, the Guzzlord just has a positive matchup against that Napoleon, because I can always throw my brutal swings while they are basically throwing all resistant moves, whether it's Waterfall, Hydro Cannon, or even Drill Peck. That Guzzlord was pretty good against their entire team. All right, game number 5. Can we get the 5-0? So this is kind of neutral if they are able to get their Earthquake off. Let's see what happens here. The fact that they're staying in, kind of interesting. Maybe they have an ABA team, or they're just trying to play it out. We let the first one go. Could have been Earthquake, we call that. We go for the Dragon Claw here just to do some damage. We don't have any one-hit KO moves versus their... Ooh. We don't have any one-hit KOs, but they decide to shield. Once again, this becomes another bait. Are they going to go for the double bait or are they going to go for the Earthquake? They decide Earthquake. Pretty significant damage. But we survive it, so that's probably why we decided to let it go. We go for another Dragon Claw here. And we need to get to another Dragon Claw to take it out. Unfortunately, we die on the move. Maybe it was lag, maybe we die on the move, whatever. Unfortunately, they were able to actually one shield win that matchup. So good to know. Good to know if they get that Earthquake off. They get to another Earthquake. They allow us to farm it down. Cresselia with some energy, usually pretty good unless you see like Reggie or something. So it ends up being Charizard versus Charizard. Mine's Shadow, theirs is Shadow. This is going to come down to baiting. So we both have a ton of energy right now. Could be the Blast Burn. They go for the bait. Nice bait by them. Okay, and then we just go for the Dragon, or we go for the Blast Burn here. Because we're close to 2 Blast Burns. And they go for another move here. And ooh, another Dragon Claw bait here. So we're just gonna take this thing out immediately. The fact that they haven't switched out probably means that this Charizard is really good against their backline. And okay, Nidoqueen is interesting. Nidoqueen in Ultra League usually is running Stone Edge. In Great League it's usually running, you know, Poison Fang and Earth Power, but that huge Blast Burn right there just, I don't know, it took out like 60-70% of this. So no matter what, we're going to be able to win this because this Cresselia still has so much health left. Once again, as you can see right there, it was running Stone Edge. And luckily my Cresselia was able to tank that. And luckily it can get to a Grass Knot before it can go to another Stone Edge. GG's to my opponents right there. Try out this team. Guzzlord and Charizard and Cresselia. Kind of a ABB against the... Fairy types. So give it a try and we'll see you in the next one.